The Monday, February 14th, 2022 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purpose of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Item number 2, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation, and item number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance, will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Hughes. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for all the blessings, Father, that you've given unto us, for your watch care, for your intervening on our behalf. And we just pray, Father, that you might continue to bless our city, that you would guide and direct our leaders tonight as they conduct the city's business. And Father, we just pray that you give us the wisdom to do that which would glorify you and accomplish all that you'd have us to accomplish. For we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the Citizens Forum is now closed. The consent agenda is the next item. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request an item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Pankaj. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 10, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance readopting Section 8.02.034, curfew regulations for children of Chapter 8 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Paris, Texas. Staff, do you have a presentation, please? Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Council. This curfew, this
Lift
item,
the mic.
can you all hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, this agenda item has to do with the city ordinance curfew that establishes 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. time and then in the morning times, I forgot the date, the morning time, but it's during school hours up to 2:30, I can't remember the beginning time, that officers have the authority to make contact with any children that are out during those times. If they're not at school, if they're not. It keeps kids out of trouble, helps their parents, and it keeps them from becoming victims of crime. There's no reason for them to be out late at night. And then there's plenty of provisions with exceptions to that if they're with an adult, if they're working or anything like that. And the city ordinance calls for a 2-year review. I've looked at the stats. They're all over the place. Y'all have seen the stats. They're all over the place. I don't think the stats tell us anything other than activity, but I do think that the ordinance has value, and that it's for your consideration if you want to amend it, if you want to keep it, or if we want to cancel it. If you have any questions. Okay.
Any questions? I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion? I will say that the statistics do look like the number of juvenile interaction with police have gone down pretty steadily. So thank you to your department. All right, I will hear a motion to approve.
I move that we continue the ordinance as written.
All right, I hear a second.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. All right, there's motion and a second. All in favor of maintaining this ordinance, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 11, receive presentation, discuss, and act on a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the temporary closure of state right-of-way in support of the 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026 Stake Wars event. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. It's a pleasure to be here before you this evening to present a multi-year agreement with TxDOT and a resolution supporting the continuation of this event. It was a very successful event held last year. The previous year was canceled due to the pandemic. This year, the event is expected to continue to increase in size, and certainly with regard to the location. You see on the screen before you the area that's proposed on Main Street to be closed for this event. There is a plan that has been developed by staff, working in cooperation with various departments to approve or to create a detour route that would allow Main Street to be detoured as a part of the trunk highway system for TxDOT. We've received some comments back from TxDOT. There'll be some very minor amendments made to this map, just essentially showing the road marker signs. All of this equipment the city currently has within its Public Works Department to help support the event. I also have this evening an honor of recognizing from last year our second place winners in the Stake Wars event from our EMS department, proudly showing their trophy here. But this evening we have with us a member of the Stake Wars board, Mr. Chris Estep, General Manager with South Main Iron, to help present part of the request by their board for this program and event. But with that, staff does recommend approval of the agreement and the resolution authorizing the multi-year agreement, similar to as we have done for the Pumpkin Festival for the downtown, which is a multi-5-year program. Much for this has been modeled along those lines.
And I believe this does benefit the Boys and Girls Club, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I'll let Mr. Estep speak to it further.
Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate all your work on that, and we just appreciate everything that you do as well. My name is Chris Estep. I'm with South Main Iron. In 2020, we created an organization for organizations called Iron Communities, and that's specifically what it's designed for. We were extremely humbled that Paris Stake Wars, that the Boys and Girls Club accepted that we could have the benefit specifically for them in 2020 with the pandemic. We moved it to 2021. Last year, we were able to, with the help from the community and major sponsors, we were able to raise over $15,000 for the Boys and Girls Club. So it's extremely humbling. We absolutely love this community and love being in downtown Paris. It has been an exceptional ride so far. We continue to have the expectation of having large events like this. Paris Steak Wars is by far our largest event that we've ever taken on. We have an amazing board, an amazing team of individuals that have given their time more than anything and really showed out. But we have the expectations that this event, Paris Steak Wars, will only get bigger. And we love the support for sure. And we certainly appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion?
I just had one word. It's a great event, and being involved with the VCC, man, this is definitely one of those heavy hitter events that we like to have in our community, and we're here to support. I'm here to support. The VNCC is really excited about this event annually, so kudos to you guys for putting on a really good show and just in general a good operation. So thank you.
Ms. Stone?
I think it's amazing that somebody feels like it's an honor to contribute to the children in this community, which is really a big deal. And I'm a big advocate for the Boys and Girls Club, so we appreciate you guys for doing this event and supporting our kids in the community.
I will hear a motion to act on this resolution.
I'll make the motion that we pass the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pankaj. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 12, discuss and act on an agreement between the City of Paris and Lamar County Chamber of Commerce to cover all expenses for the Love Civic Center renovation project in excess of the city's available funding and authorize the city manager to sign up. Mr. Path, you have a presentation, please?
Yes, this has been a long project in the works, and this is a renovation project for the Love Civic Center. Back in 2019, the voters approved a 2% hotel occupation tax dedicated for the repayment of a bond, which the bond was for the purpose of renovating the Love Civic Center. We've been working with our architects, WRA Architects, and of course with our partners with the chamber to develop the needs for this project and the design. We submitted a bid back in December, and we opened bids in January. And so with this, the bids did come back a little higher than we have for funds available, but that was to be expected. And so the chamber has agreed to pay the expense beyond the available funding. They have funds set aside for renovation at the chamber, at Love Civic Center. So we will utilize our approximately $1.1 million in available bonded funding to cover the project, and then they will cover the excess beyond that for the cover of the contract here. So this is a two agenda item topic here. First one being to approve an agreement between the city and chamber for the chamber to pay the excess cost, and the next item would be for us to award the bid to the contractor for that whole project. So I've worked with Paul Allen hand in hand with this project, and they're in agreement to cover the excess cost. So we recommend approval of the agreement.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Path or discussion?
I don't have a question, but I will say, as one of the operators that collects this tax, man, we're really excited. Getting a pulse on all the other hotel owners that I work with, they're really excited on this front too. And also understanding our guests and their values that visit our community, they're really wanting this. And so I'm a big proponent. I think this is a fantastic thing, and we're finally glad to see this happen.
It was exciting to see the architect's plans.
Yes.
All right, I will hear a motion to act on this agreement.
I move that we approve the agreement between the City of Paris and Lamar County Chamber of Commerce for the LCCC to cover all expenses in excess of the city's available fund balance for the Love Civic Center renovation project and authorize the city manager to sign.
Thank you, Mr. Pankaj. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 13, discuss and act on a resolution to award a bid to Tegrity Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $1,398,454 for the Love Civic Center renovation project, and authorize the city manager to sign contingent upon the approval of the agreement between the City of Paris and Lamar County Chamber of Commerce to cover all expenses in excess of available funding. Mr. Path?
Yes, and so to go along with the last item, this is to award the bid to Tegrity Construction. It is an amount of almost $1.4 million. That has a $50,000 contingency added into that. We have with us today our architect, Nandita Rajakumar. She's with us today, and so I've asked her to come up and kind of just give you a brief overview of what the project will entail. But again, this is a renovation of the Love Civic Center. We've already spent some of the funds in years past for some audio-visual upgrades, and so this is to now the next step would be to do some remodeling inside here. And so, but I'll have Nandita speak to those remodels, and then we will talk about approval of the contract. And so, Nandita.
Good evening and welcome. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Of course. Nandita Rajakumar, representing WRA Architects. And thank you, Grayson. I'm here to talk briefly about the Love Civic Center renovations and what we're planning and have designed for the renovations there. I'm not sure if they've received this, Grayson?
They did.
Okay. So as you can see in front of you, we've put together a short diagram of all the changes that we're proposing. Going counterclockwise, the main part of the renovations include updating the finishes of the exterior exhibit hall. This is including pouring a new floor, which would basically be more durable than what exists right now, and updating and repairing any of the damages that might be there. The other big and important update is to bring the entire building up to code, up to accessibility code. That includes updating the restrooms, making sure that the floors are level, and making sure that all access ways are accessible by wheelchair or anyone with any kind of impairments. The entire building is getting exterior and interior paint finish updates, new floors, new ceiling tiles, new light fixtures, and the conference rooms are also getting updates to their finishes and lights. On entry into the Love Civic Center, you will have a new color palette, a new wall finish, new flooring finish, and new light fixtures that will accent and bring the entire building together. There are also there's also updates to the doors and large overhead doors in the back, so that will allow access in case of any big, large events that you might have and to bring in large equipment. The project is proposed to be completed by September 2022, and the entire project will be a great update and will probably provide a new look for the Love Civic Center.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
You said a new, more durable floor. What type of floor would that be?
This is a fluid applied floor that will be 3/16 inch thicker, and this is usually poured, and it won't crack. The expansion joints and all of that will be hidden and will be more durable. There are concerns about water damage underneath the existing slab, so we're going to shot blast, which is basically scraping off the existing paint and repairing the surface and then pouring a new floor. That should take more wear and tear.
Thank you.
The only question I have, and I know at our meeting just last week, main question I have is, with the events that are currently on the book and taking place, just want to make sure it will be a fluid process to kind of go around those events, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The schedule of events that we've received from the Love Civic Center takes priority, so we will work around, and it should be a fluid event
No.
process too.
Seeing no further questions, I'll hear a motion to act on this resolution.
I move that we award the bid for the Love Civic Center renovation project to Integrity Contractors Incorporated in the amount of $1,398,454 and authorize the city manager to sign and issue the notice to proceed contingent upon the Lamar County Chamber of Commerce's approval of the agreement and cover additional costs beyond the available bond funding.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you for joining us tonight. Item number 14, discuss and act on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a solid waste collection permit to NETX Dumpster Rentals LLC pursuant to Section 12.04.42D of the Code of Ordinances, and passage of this ordinance requires 5 affirmative votes. Thank you, Ms. Harris. You have a presentation.
Well, I have a short one, and I'm pinch hitting for Miss Ellis tonight because she can't speak. So I will speak for her. We carried this item over from the agenda last time because it requires 5 affirmative votes, and we only had 4 council members. But this is another application for our solid waste collection permits that are available under section or Article 12.04 of the Code of Ordinances. And as you know, when we've given these in the past, that provides that they pay that collection fee and 11% of what their income is from the collection route. So staff would recommend that you approve this license.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Did we take this off the table?
No, we didn't
table it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 15, discuss and consider approval of a professional services agreement with the Burdette Agency, Inc., doing business as North Star Place Branding and Marketing in the amount of $85,000 for branding and marketing services, and authorize the city manager to sign. Mr. Path, you have a presentation?
Yes, this has been an exciting project that Ms. Maureen Hammond with the EDC and Mr. Paul Allen with the Chamber and I have been working together on for about a year now. Ms. Hammond brought to Paul and I here about a year ago with the idea of we should develop some kind of unified branding messaging, from logos to taglines to just messaging to just everything that shows that the city, the Chamber, EDC are on the same page. And we've had some excellent working relationships the last year and a half that I've seen, and we work very well together, but we want to be able to show that to the community so that whenever we're marketing our community, they see a unified message from all of us. And so with that, the City Council authorized us to send out an RFP to pursue qualified firms that have the experience and capability to do the research, the studying, and give us the good guidance and develop the imaging and marketing and taglines we need for this project. So we submitted RFPs, we received those back. We reviewed 9 different applications, very qualified firms. We were very blessed with the turnout on that. We selected 5 to interview. We selected an interview team consisting of Mayor Pro Tem Reginald Hughes and Councilmember Mihir Pankaj, as well as 2 members from the EDC board, 2 members from the Chamber of Commerce, as well as Maureen, myself, and Paul to interview these firms. With that, we've selected North Star to be the firm we'd like to present to you tonight as the firm that we want to work with going forward. They have a very, very excellent, impressive background, and their scope of service resonated with our committee. And so with this, we recommend approval of this contract. This would be this contract is split 3 ways between the Chamber, EDC, and City, so we'll be covering 1/3 of the cost for this project. It will be about, I think it's about 8 to 9 months in length and time for the project to be completed. But with your approval, we will then get the EDC and the chamber's blessing on the scope. The contract will be with the city itself, because instead of having three different contracts, we'll be the primary contract signer on behalf of the other boards. But otherwise, we'll work in tandem with these boards to complete this project. So I'll entertain any questions or concerns or thoughts you have.
I'll just reiterate what we've spoken about before, but now in front of the council. Boy, that was a tough, those pitches were great from all of the companies. And I think Mayor Pro Tem Hughes can definitely attest to that also, that, man, great companies there, but I think that this is the right one. They seem like the right company to go with, and very professional. Their presentation was spot on, perfect.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
Thanks to all the staff work on this, as well as board members and council members. And we do work all those three entities together so well that I think a branding that shows that is time to happen.
Yep.
Any discussion?
I'd like to thank Maureen for coming up with the idea of making us one entity. I know it's a group thing, but, somebody had the idea, and everything starts with an idea. So I want to give her kudos for that. And you're right, all three entities are one, because we are Paris, right? So we want what's best for Paris, and we represent as one. Thank you. Thank everybody.
All right. Is there a motion? Oh, you have something to add?
Grace and I
Yeah,
were
come
talking.
on up.
I just want to say thank you for considering it. It has been a really good process, I think, and Grayson and Paul and I work really well together. And so to get the steering committee and see that really expand beyond us and even greater through the process, on behalf of the PEDC, we're really excited to move forward. So thank you for considering this. So
Thank you. All right. I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the professional services agreement with North Star Place Branding and Marketing, and authorize the city manager to sign once final approval of the scope of services is given by the PEDC board and the Lamar County Chamber of Commerce board.
Thank you. A second?
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries 6-0. Item number 16, receive presentation about this Paris Economic Development Corporation's annual report for fiscal year 2021. Thank you, Ms. Hammond.
Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, thank you for allowing us to present our 2021 annual report. Okay. Is there a keyboard, or can I use that? Okay. I'm Maureen Hammond. I'm the director of the Paris Economic Development Corporation. Here we go. We are the jobs organization for the community for Paris and Lamar County, charged with job retention and creation. We do that through attracting new industry to the community, keeping our existing industry, helping them grow and thrive, as well as cultivating an environment that fosters startups. I thought what I'd do, and I will promise I will try to be fast, so give me a 2-minute warning or buzz me when you're ready for me to leave. But we've accomplished so much this year, and that is really, I would say, because of the partnership we have with council. So really excited to talk about some things. Figured I'd talk about our financial position, talk a little bit about the committee work, go into our projects, and then some economic trends, if that's okay. So our budget for the year ending 2022, you can see we've budgeted $2.6 million. We're estimating tax revenue at $1.7 million. Most of our expenses, you can see, are in direct business incentives. That's sitting at $1.7 million, and I'll talk a little bit more here in a minute about our obligations. But that variance of about $1 million is primarily due to American Spiral Weld. So you can see we have an obligation for $1 million if they create 40 additional jobs above and beyond the 60 they have already created. I visited with them 2 weeks ago, and they are currently employing 100 people. That is so exciting. This project was announced well before my time here, and so what a great investment and for the leadership that made that project happen. It's been so good for our community. So you will likely see that $1 million come off of our books this year. Huhtamaki, we have an obligation for $100,000 for rail improvements, and then Metrogate, a cash for jobs incentive of $120,000 for the creation of 40 new jobs. This is a timeline on our activities. I'm just going to hit the high points because I'm going to talk in detail about some of these moving forward. But you can see in January, we opened 2021 pretty strong with the announcement of Metrogate, followed by TxDOT announcing their district headquarters in the Gene Stallings Business Park. In February, we held a planning session, and from that planning session, there were 3 committees appointed, incentive review committee, a land review committee, and a marketing committee. Those committees started their work in March, had several meetings throughout the year. And then in June, we approved a 2-year plan of work that will inform our activities moving forward. In July, we welcomed new board members Mark Homer and Eric Roddy. We also celebrated Metrogate's expansion, and then in August, we completed environmentals for all of the PEDC-owned properties, appointed a new policy review committee, and then we ended the year with the announcement of Besser Pro in the Northwest Industrial Park, Delco, and then the acquisition of 177 acres. Want to talk about committee work. I've said this before, but everyone's looking for the next win. You could have an announcement, last month, and people are like, well, where's your next announcement? There's so much work that goes into what we do and laying the foundation to make those opportunities happen, and just have an incredibly engaged, passionate board that is generous with their time. So the land committee spent, I don't know how many, we probably had 7 meetings at least last year, looking at our current land inventory, looking at potential sites that we could acquire. We also looked at site readiness. That's so important when you look at a new project coming to the community. In fact, we've seen 3 RFPs in the last 3 months. If you did not have utilities, environmentals, and weren't zoned properly, you were not eligible to submit. So it is so important that we continue getting these sites site ready. So we had all of the environmentals performed on all of the property with the exception of the newly acquired 177-acre site, and then also had all of our properties rezoned to industrial use. Want to give a shout out to Andrew Mack and Planning and Development and P&Z. They made it so easy for us. It was really a seamless process. And their work will continue this year. The marketing committee, Dr. Hashmi, Stephen Terrell, Eric Roddy are on that committee. Several meetings last year. The 2 things I think that we accomplished were developing and implementing a social media strategy. So from June 1 to the end of December, we had about 25,000 hits. That was really important because we really want to be transparent with the public, not only leadership and council, but we want people to understand why what we do is important and what we're doing. So really pleased with the social media strategy. And then that committee also talked about the branding, and so very supportive of this brand initiative. In fact, Dr. Hashmi and Stephen are serving on that branding steering committee. The incentive review committee, Josh Bray, Curtis Finley, Chase Coleman. We've also had several meetings. That committee has been really helpful for me because companies like to move fast, and so having an advisory incentive committee really helps when I need to understand what the board would be willing to do in terms of incentives. We also don't have any formal guidelines in place. What we will likely do, we've been shaping up some internal guidelines. Every project is going to be different, but we want to make sure that when we incentivize a company, we can stand behind that with some rationale and metrics that justify those expenses. Policy Review Committee, that formed late last year, so we've only had 2 meetings to date, but they've accomplished quite a bit. It's been, I think, about 5 years since those bylaws and the policies and standards have been reviewed, and so it was really important to take a look to make sure those policies were up to date. So they have completed their review of the bylaws, so we'll be bringing forward some amendments to consider in the next 60 to 90 days, and then they'll continue reviewing other documents. So a lot of work by those committees. I don't think people understand what that time commitment looks like. So really grateful for the leadership I have on the board. In business attraction, I think I showed this slide last year, and I know it seems like it is a little bit outdated, ending in 2006, but the information is still relevant. I just think it's important to understand that the attraction projects always get the headlines. That's what people expect to see, but you can see in 1999 we're at an all-time high of about 12,000 attraction projects, and that's across the U.S. And then in 2006, that dwindled to about 4,700. So the competition is fierce. There's over 5,000 communities, if not more, competing for these projects. And depending on where you're at in the U.S., that number gets much lower. So just know that as we move forward. So for 2021, we were eligible to submit on 28 projects. We do have 3 negotiations. 2 of those are manufacturing. 1 is distribution and warehouse. And then, of course, we closed 1 project. We saw Besser announce locating in the Northwest Industrial Park. They acquired the old Winfield building, which is 30,000 square feet. They're currently looking at expanding that, so they're doubling their footprint. Currently have 20 people on staff, which is great considering that they just acquired that building last year. So excited to see what they do moving forward. We as a EDC approved a 1-year option agreement on some land adjacent to their site that will allow for expansion. In business retention and expansion, we have focused on prioritizing BRNE. Most new net jobs come from your existing companies and new startups. So we've had a great deal of outreach. In fact, we established a board member liaison program. So we have board members that will host dinners, and we'll go out and meet with the plant managers and local leadership. Those have been great because it's so important to strengthen those relationships. Economic development is relationship-based, and so we've really seen some good results come from those dinners. We've also had at least 15 site visits with primary employers, and those have been all, those meetings are really good just to let them know how important it is that they're in our community, and then address issues that come up like workforce challenges, expansion opportunities, or it can be as simple as helping share job opportunities. In terms of projects, again, we saw the announcement of Metrogate. That was a really good win for this community. This was a true retention project. They were looking outside of Lamar County. They needed more capacity. Their sales had ramped up. They needed additional workforce, and so we were really glad they chose to stay in Lamar County, and so we incentivized those 40 new jobs and retained those 40. TxDOT too, that was truly a retention project. They could have located in any community that they serve. This was incredibly important to keep them here. That's 160 jobs at an average wage of $60,000 a year that we could have lost out on. So really good that we were able to find them 37 acres in our industrial park. They're going to build a state-of-the-art district headquarter facility that will anchor our industrial park. So look forward to see some movement on that soon. And then, of course, we ended the year with the announcement of Delco Trailers, helped them get a tax abatement through the county. They currently have 115 jobs. They will create 300 new jobs to Lamar County over the next 3 to 5 years. That's significant. These jobs will be high-wage jobs, at least $20 an hour or greater. We've seen a lot of growth in the trailer manufacturing industry. So I'm sure most of you have seen it, but if you haven't and you're traveling westbound, it's the steel you see going up on the south side of 82, 550,000 square feet. And I believe they plan to have that complete in August. So in total for 2021, we saw 200 jobs retained, 360 new jobs to Lamar County. So total direct supported jobs, 560 jobs that were supported last year. That's an estimate that equates to an estimated annual payroll of 30 million. Capital investment will be around 50 million, and that's very conservative. And then you can see the breakout of taxes. Now, the tax numbers, that's over a 10-year period, but I think the return on investment for what we've been able to do is pretty significant. And I will say those announcements and supporting those jobs don't happen without your support. So thank you for the partnership. And I hope you celebrate in these wins, as does my board, because this was truly a team effort. I want to talk very quickly about economic trends and where we're going as a community. You all probably have access to this information, but we look at it on a pretty regular basis just to see how we're doing as a community. It is an economic indicator. You can see we've stayed pretty stable in these permits, and expect those numbers to grow with the new programs and the policy you all have approved. I can't tell you how much that impacts what we do. It's funny because we're responsible for jobs, but we have to, so many things impact our ability to do our job well, right? Housing, population growth, labor size. So it all works together, and just want to say thank you for really taking an issue in affordable housing that everyone else is facing and just tackling that issue and approving that program. So we hope to see larger numbers next year. This is 10 years population. You can see again we've stayed pretty stable with population growth, minimal. I thought what was interesting here is you can see how high the unemployment rate was starting in 2000 for the next 5 years, and then you can see where it starts getting better. Now obviously 6.5%, that was during COVID, so that's higher than it normally would be. This just shows the revenue trends, and Grayson can probably speak to this slide better than I can, but I think you all know we have had record numbers in sales tax revenue over the last 2 years. That has been great. It'll be interesting to see if we can stay there. And then this just shows 10-year history of the average wages. It's been a steady increase in average wages. You can see from 2010 it was 33,000, and today we're at about 45,000 in average wage. This slide shows total job growth over the last 5 years. So you can see we've had 4% growth in jobs, 873 jobs. Also thought it was important to look at our peer communities and see how we kind of stack up. Sherman Denison, they're so much larger, but I think Bonham and Sherman had higher growth, but they're also, you can see the population difference for those counties. But I think we're doing really well when you look at historical numbers and job growth. I think there's a lot of positive data. Stable population, we've seen substantial growth in sales tax, consistent increase in average wages, growth in manufacturing, growth in tourism, thanks to Paul Allen and the Chamber and all the work they're doing with the pump track events, archery competitions. New home construction anticipated over the next few years thanks to all the changes you are making that will incentivize development and steady growth in jobs and labor force. We've seen 500 jobs announced or supported last year, 360 new jobs. And then in terms of the PEDC, we currently have 4 projects in negotiations, those aerospace and manufacturing, and we have several leads. So I just want to sum up with our accomplishments. We've talked about the 560 jobs we supported. We have implemented a 2-year plan of work. We are very close to having all of our properties site ready. And thank you to Grayson and his team for having conversations about water lines and utilities. That's so important and part of site readiness. We launched the joint branding initiative that Grayson talked about. We've launched a social media strategy. We've acquired 177 acres just north of Kimberly-Clark, across from the Gene Stallings Business Park. Secured $2.5 million loan with the city to pay off our debt, and that did allow us to move forward with that land acquisition. So thank you for your partnership in that. Special thanks to Gene Anderson, Chase Coleman on my board, and Grayson, and then you all for allowing us to do that. I know this was Mayor Clifford's wish and the prior council, but so thanks to him and you, Mayor Portugal, and all of you for continuing that dialogue and allowing that loan to happen. I think we will probably save, at least in the initial year, about $40,000. So it was truly a win-win. Gene can probably speak to the earnings that the city will have, but for us, it will save $40,000 easily in the first year. And then, of course, we've prioritized our existing industry, mentioned that we've hosted dinners and had at least 15 site visits with primary employers. So moving forward, we're going to continue our core activities in attraction, BR&E, fostering startups. We're going to focus on establishing our brand in partnership with the city and the chamber. So after that is complete, we do intend to reface our website. It is the first place that a site consultant goes, and ours is very outdated, but we are waiting for the new branding before we move forward with that. Was that are y'all buzzing me off? Oh, I lost it. I'm almost finished. I promise this is the last slide. We're going to continue the priorities on our plan of work. Really excited. We implemented a formal survey in Lamar County in partnership with PJC. So Dr. Anglin and I, in the month of January, have visited with 4 employers with the survey already. We have 4 planned for February. Really excited because I think that is going to give us some really important business intel that's not only going to inform our policy and programming, but I think it'll be beneficial for you all once we have those results. We're going to work on identifying other funding sources. In fact, we'll be applying for an EDA grant at the end of this month to help with infrastructure improvements in the Northwest Industrial Park. We plan to coordinate with Cox Field to target aerospace and aviation compatible opportunities, and we're going to be very intentional when it comes to workforce development, because that's an issue that everyone's facing today, labor shortages. So we'll be working with many leaders and partners to see what we can do there. And then we're going to continue dialogue and efforts that impact attraction and retention of labor. So, and with that, I truly mean it. We have a great team. I really feel like we are a community on the rise, and that's because of the partnership and the collaboration we have not only with council, but the chamber, PJC, and the county. And so thank you for being such an awesome partner and really making a difference. Everything you're doing impacts us, and then the support you've given us in economic development has allowed us to do our job. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. How'd I do?
Oh, go ahead, please.
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to state that we appreciate the efforts, first of all, with all of the entities working together. But 2 things really stood out to me, and that's the EDC-owned properties that are site-ready. I think that's huge. I think that's great. And the other part is the focus that not only the EDC and the city and the county and PJC, the focus that we're putting on job retention, because there's no job growth without retention. So I appreciate the fact that we're trying to keep jobs here. You know, we're not trying to grow so big that we're forgetting about what's already here. So I appreciate that fact.
Good.
So thank you.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Maureen, I just had a question. Well, one, I wanted to start off by saying fantastic job with the EDC, doing great work. And then previously being a part of that, I saw some of that change coming in, but man, you guys are taking it off and it's fantastic. The only question I had was, if my memory serves me correct, didn't we have a finance committee for the EDC?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, okay. I
We
just was
do.
just curious. It's still going good?
Yes, yes.
Good, good,
It
good.
meets on a pretty regular basis.
No problem.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No worries, no worries. I was just thinking about
In
that.
fact, the Finance Committee is really the Incentive Review Committee, so
Okay.
it's the same individuals.
Fantastic. Well, fantastic job, and I think that the outlook of our community looks really bright, and with opportunities such as what council and what a lot of the community has put together with the 5 and 5. I mean, that's exciting, but that only offers even more opportunities, and hopefully that creates more incentives for jobs to grow and more opportunities for our citizens. So fantastic.
Yeah, I talk about that, by the way, when we talk about labor, so it's a really good talking point that you all approve that program.
I'd just like to say, let's give Maureen and her board a big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, item number 17, discuss and act on an ordinance repealing section 7.02.041-7.02.055 EMS Reserve Unit of the Code of Ordinances. Staff, do you have a presentation? Mr. Thrasher?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. This is really just a cleanup item. Back in the late 70s, when the EMS was created, they had very few staff people. EMTs, paramedics weren't really a thing yet, so they established a reserve unit. That word has a different meaning today, and the requirements for anyone to be able to respond or work an event are the same as the rest of the EMTs and things. And the folks that are willing to volunteer for that and maintain that and us be able to have the oversight required by DSHS has become extremely difficult, especially the last 2 years. And we can now cover that with our PRN staff, which is now a much larger list. Folks work when they still want to. It's not required. And we're able to kind of know what's going on more than having like a separate EMT. Now, this is different than the first responders. Nothing like that at all. It's just outdated and kind of has seen its time. So it's just a cleanup of the resolution.
Any questions of Mr. Thrasher? All right, I'll hear a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the ordinance repealing section 7.02.041-7.02.055 of the Code of Ordinances.
And thank you, Mr. Savage. And a second.
A second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Item number 18, receive an update from the city manager or staff regarding Wi-Fi's internet services.
Yes, Councilmember Stone requested that we have this little update tonight about the status of the Wi-Fi's fiber project. We do have Mr. Mossy Kynes with us present tonight, and so he approached us about 3 or 4 months ago with the exciting proposition of bringing fiber to our community. We do have some fiber in town, but obviously it's only built in certain parts of the community. So Wi-Fi proposes to build it out and try to touch all parts of the community eventually. And so we've worked with Mr. Kynes to start developing an agreement with that. This is a very complicated section of federal and state law. Ms. Harris and I approached a legal firm in the Houston area called BBK, who specializes in telecommunication law to help us write an appropriate master license agreement, because we are dealing with our right-of-ways, and as such, we have to regulate how things go into our right-of-way so we can protect our roads, our infrastructure, and also just manage the access and people, so we don't have too many things overriding each other. So we worked with them. We did receive the final draft from our attorneys this last week. We presented to Mr. Kynes this last week. At the same time, I know it's not quite on the agenda here, but we were also approached by another company, Vive Broadband, here about a month or so ago, also seeking to do broadband. So we're trying to do both at the same time. We do not give exclusive franchises to entities. So we are working with both entities at the same time to develop a fair, equal agreement for both parties. Both parties are seeking to build out in parts of town. Both specialize in different areas, but Wi-Fi is particularly looking at touching residential and commercial, so we are excited to continue working with him. We did, like I said, we did submit to him the draft last week, so I think he and I are going to get together here sometime pretty soon to start talking about clarification, questions, and so forth. It's a negotiation, and so which is expected. This telecommunication law is a very complicated set of laws, so it's a back and forth as any contract would be. So, but that's where we're at for the project there. So I just encourage the council to continue to let Ms. Harris and I continue to quarterback this and work with Mr. Kynes and Vive and as well to develop a final agreement to bring back to you at a future time. I'll take any questions you have.
Well, I appreciate you meeting with them, and we do need that service in town, but I know, like you said, it's more complicated than just, it takes a little time, but it's something that Paris does need. We appreciate you all working together for it.
We appreciate you doing your due diligence, and it takes as long as it takes. So when you and Ms. Harris have completed that, we'll look forward to an opportunity to vote on it.
Very good. And Mr. Kynes is available tonight if you have any questions for him as well. So.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pat. Item number 19, convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code. 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: retail development. The time is 6:25, and the city council is convening into executive session. The time is 6:47. We'll reconvene into open session. There's no action needed to be taken on what was discussed. Item number 21, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Does anyone have anything?
No.
All right, I hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.